Welcome to In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan, where we inform, inspire, and motivate you to be a positive agent of change. Good morning to everyone out there, and good morning to everyone in the surrounding areas. That's Natchitoches, Gina, Alexandria on 88.1 FM, Monroe, West Monroe on 98.9 FM, Shreveport, Greenwood on 92.5 FM, St. Joseph, Natchez, Mississippi on 99.3 FM, and Lake Charles on 100.1 FM. And look, on this thriving Thursday, you're one day closer to the weekend out there. So look, if you didn't get a smile on your face or you didn't grab your coffee, let's just say with thriving Thursday, you done got in your place. Amen, amen. So what? Today we have an extra special guest with us in the studio today. Miss Danielle Bailey, who is an LCSW, is the owner and operator of Freedom Therapy Center, LLC. Danielle, over the past 15 years, she's traveled and gained a great wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and experience in the field of social work and mental behavior and health. Her educational background includes a bachelor's degree of arts and social work from Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and she then received her master's degree in social work from Stephen A. Austin State University and Nacogdoches, Texas. Welcome, and good morning to you, Danielle.
Good morning, you guys. I'm glad to be here today.
Awesome times. I tell you what, I'm very excited about the topic of conversation that we're going to be going into today. And, it's a little bit that, we gave your bio and people thought, okay, we're going to be talking about some mental things. But look, we're really going to get into the whole mental aspect of the subject that we're going to be talking about today. Right. So, we're really going to be jumping into, opening the door as of why some of us struggle financially. And, Danielle, just to give them a quick taste with that, I mean, roundabout way, a little quick synopsis without giving them the whole meat and potatoes on it exactly. Give them a little bit about why we possibly struggle in that area.
It's because it's a lot of reasons why we can possibly struggle because of finances. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why is honestly starting back from your family history. Mm-hmm. And how were you taught? Either you were taught to deal with money in the proper way or the improper way. And a lot of people are taught in the improper way or they're just not taught at all. And so if you don't go and research the proper ways how to handle money, well, then you just let it go. And it handles you instead of you handling it.
Wow, that's good. I mean, that kind of almost echoes a meeting that we had with an individual a few weeks ago, and how, she said one of the main hangups of people that want to come in and start a savings account or a checking account is literally they have no concept of how.
Yeah.
And, when she said that, I kind of gave them like, what do you mean they don't know how to start a savings or a checking account? I mean, but, the thing is that, just like you said, it's that whole, mental aspect of, what used to work, right. Let's just keep going with that. And I mean, Danielle, let me ask you this. How did you actually, I know you've got your degree, you've got a master's degree and everything. How did you actually, get on this journey? What sparked you to say, hey, this is the direction that I know I'm being carried?
I would say that I started because my dad actually introduced me to my dad goes to y'all church, and he introduced me to
the man.
He introduced me to Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
And so at that time I was getting ready to purchase a house. And so when I was introduced to Dave, that sparked everything because somebody started teaching me how to deal with money. And so from listening to Dave Ramsey, being able to save like $20,000 in 8 months to purchase a house, to pay off debt, and all of that. So that just sparked so much. And then Dave Ramsey is very strict. So I had to research different ways to actually incorporate therapy with it, because it was just like, I know that there is something that I can do with helping people with therapy and finances. And so I ended up researching it more. And it is something that a thing as financial therapy, where you really take people, the mind of people, help shifting and shaping it and teaching them new coping skills.
That's good. And I'm actually one that delves into touching and following a little bit as far as like with Dave Ramsey. I mean, he definitely has some really good teachings out there. But yeah, just like you said, he's really regimented and really strict.
Yes.
With he's like, it's got to be this way.
Right.
And he doesn't deviate from the process. But I like how you actually said that, you know, it was the thing that actually sparked you.
Yeah.
And, you know, the one thing is, not only did you say, okay, this is what actually sparked me on this journey, but you immediately gave testament to the results of what you received from, okay,
Right.
what is it that's going to get me to basically get to where I want to be financially? And, you know, a lot of people out there, unfortunately, they call themselves, you know, experts or aficionados or whatever you want to say in certain fields. But then it's simply because they may have only read something and never actually experienced it or went through it.
Right.
Okay. So they're kind of like building up a business or some type of coaching practice, you know, like they say, like you're skating on thin ice.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, basically you put hand to the plow.
Yes.
Hand to the plow.
Yes, I know firsthand on how to restore your own credit, restore your own finances, build up a saving, being able to leave your job and pursue your dreams off of being able to be in a financially stable place. And I did that from the ground up with God's help to where I'm at now. And it's just like, I know the struggle. I've been there, you know. So like, I'm very much so a testament of what I preach and what I talk about. This isn't new to me. I'm true to this. As my friend would say, you know, she's like, I'm true to this. I've been there. I understand. And so it's just like, now I can help others to get to where they want to be in life.
That's good. That's really good. So the thing is that while a lot of people really don't know exactly in the realm of how to jump in and get help for their particular situations. I mean, and, you know, we went into your bio, and it was basically like therapy as far as like, you know, a lot of people are thinking on the mental aspect. And, you know, Scripture even lets us know that as a man thinketh, so is he. And, you know, if you think you'll accomplish great things, then eventually you will accomplish great things. But if someone thinks they'll never be able to make ends meet, they'll always live their life in that same, you know, mindset. So, Danielle, how can therapy actually help someone with their finances?
It comes into when I do therapy with somebody is I will see where their mindset is. And first of all, the Bible speaks of that God shall supply all our needs according to his riches and glory. That is a fact. He shall supply all our needs. So when you're saying that your utility bill and stuff like that, you're not able to pay that, well then that's not scripture. God, because your utility bill is a need. And so I bring that back up to people who are spiritual. And I'll be like, let's see, you're mismanaging your money. Let's figure out where's the money going. And first of all, I start off with a genogram, and that goes back to school. And it's like a family gram. So when we put your family up there, and so we look at how your family handle finances and how that trickle down. So you get an understanding of, well, Big Mama handle money this way. My mama handle money this way. So now it's your decision and it's your choice to whether you're going to continue the family cycle. And so that way we bring it up to C. Let's really look at generational and stuff like that.
Right.
And so then I started going into different ways of encouraging them, like, you can do this, we can do this together, because a lot of people are afraid to look at their finances. And you just true. And you just need somebody that's there with you that's saying it's okay. And you can come out this mess. And so that's kind of where we started incorporating positive mindset. We started incorporating simple things as in stop eating out so much. Cook. Stop. And I help you see where your money, I help you identify whether or not you're a spender or a saver.
Right.
Those are two important things. If you are a spender, well, then we need to put in parameters to help you manage your money. But if you're a saver, sometimes you save too much and you don't spend and you don't live a life that's, that you want.
You know something, I'm chuckling over here about, that last thing. And that used to be me because I held on to like everything. Right. My wife would tell you, I was just like, oh, put it to the side. We can just wait till later.
Right.
I was just like, let's have delayed gratification.
Yes.
just wait. But then just like you said, I was delaying so much, we weren't doing anything.
Right.
Okay. And, I actually it just hit me. It was like God I had to do one of my grandfather things, like, boy, you're missing out on life, so I'm basically like, okay, you can it can be bad to not control your spending, but
Right.
it also can be bad not to enjoy the benefits of having those finances as well.
Right.
I mean, that's good. That's really, really powerful because I've never even heard anyone actually touch on that point. But look, definitely in what we've been talking about today, I know it's reaching you right there in your moment, and I know God's just really resonating with you. And I can guarantee before we finish the show on today, you're going to have some questions answered, and he's definitely going to get you out of some of those dark financial places. So stay with us, and we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan. Hey, it's Thriving Thursday, and guess what? By the time the show's over today, you will be thriving not only spiritually, you're definitely going to be thriving emotionally. And look, you're going to be well on your way to thriving financially after listening to our special guest in the house today, Ms. Danielle Bailey, who is the owner-operator of Freedom Therapy Center, LLC. So, Danielle, you touched on something that right before we went to break is that a lot of individuals that are out there, we hear all the time about, you got to save, look at where you're spending your money. But then of course, being able to, once you actually, or you learn or taught those key principles to where you can prosper by saving your money, a lot of us get into that mode of, well, I don't want to say being stingy, but they just don't know what's the next step. Almost as if I spend this money, I think God's going to strike me down or something. I mean, how do you help people with that?
I actually just being able to allow them to just tell them, giving them permission. A lot of time people just feel like they need permission. It's okay for you to enjoy life a little bit. It's okay for you to save money to your vacation and stuff like that. And it's okay for you to be a giver,
Exactly.
And we all are supposed to be a giver. Like a closed fist, can't nothing get in your fist and can't nothing come out. So it's just like, go ahead and just give some of the money, because when you die, you can't take it with you, like my mom and them used to say. So being able to still enjoy life, some save for a family vacation, like, save for whatever it is that you want, as long as you are disciplined enough to make categories to save for these types of things, still enjoy life, because not enjoying life is not okay.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And Danielle, let me ask you this. You touched on it a little bit, but how can a person really identify if they are a spender versus a saver?
Okay, now with that one right there, we kind of we can do like a little game about that. And I take you back and I ask you certain questions as far as okay, when you first get your check on the first day, what do you do? Do you put money into savings, or do you just go and spend on whatever you want?
Loose them tides. Loose them tides.
Do you even pay tides? So asking different questions like that, like, do you have a plan before you get your check? Like, is your check mapped out before you get it? Okay, do you have a budget?
That's good.
If you don't have a budget, okay, so then you start asking all these different questions as far as do you pay your bills first, or do you go and buy what you want first? So when you start buying what you want first, that means that you're falling into this spender category. Like, you're not necessarily saving. Do you even take out money for savings? And then what is your savings account looking like? Is it a revolving door? Mine was in the revolving door. I saved, but then I didn't save enough. Or either I didn't budget enough to pay my bills. So I would go into my savings account, and then I would go and pay my bills and put it right back. And so until a deacon one day in church who said, well, that's not a savings account, Danielle. That's just a revolving checking account.
Yes, indeed. Sometimes people have to put it, in a context that really, drives that little stake home, as you want to say, to where it's really going to catch your attention. And I like that. I mean, because first and foremost, I know exactly in our household, I don't care what it is. I mean, when the whole aspect of when God just broke that whole thing down about how, especially in the realm of tithing, okay, and how couldn't figure out, early on when we first got saved, it was basically like I can't get to you what I want to get to you because you are not allowing me to get it to you.
Right.
And, I was just like, well, I'm here.
Right.
Give me. He was just like, well, no. he was just like, there are certain principles that I have set up and established,
Right.
and you got to follow those guidelines. I've got to follow myself what I've already established. And then when he broke that down to me, as far as like in tithing, we got tithing. I mean, my wife will even tell you. I even remember one day once I caught this revelation walking into the house and basically said that I don't care if we don't have anything in the refrigerator. I don't care if we just got peanut butter and a loaf of bread or something.
Right.
We're going to loose these tithes.
Right.
And I mean, once that revelation came, it was amazing how things started like going fast forward and everything.
Right.
And I'm not saying that to like condemn anyone out there, but I mean, that's just how God started it with us
Right.
in the whole financial realm. So, I mean, the aspect of let me ask you this, why do you think, and I'm going to say society, but I mean, you could possibly break it down a little bit more. But why do you think more people lean towards once they get paid or once they get money to actually, okay, I've got to spend it as far as like really looking at it and allocating it to savings and everything else?
I think it's because, first of all, we haven't really learned about delayed gratification or anything of that nature. And it also goes back to your family history. Like, what did your parents do when they first got paid? Did they sit down and did they do a budget? And if they did not do a budget, like, what did they do? Did they go and buy, like, oh, we're going to eat out tonight? And that is the number one thing. People tend to relate emotions with money, too, as well. So when my mama got paid, we always went to McDonald's. So they have that sense of mentality as well. Like, we're going to go to McDonald's or we're going to get something to eat because this is the day we reward ourselves on this Friday. And so people have that mentality instead of, let's budget. And it's almost like this is my reward meal for working so much. Instead of actually, if you budget, you can eat out more than just on a Friday.
That's true. That is very, very true.
If you allocate money to a eating out budget, you can actually eat out more than just on Friday. You can eat out a couple of times, and stuff like that. So really just having them to examine their funds. It's okay. Like, every dollar should have a name. Give it a category. Put money in that category. Whatever category is important to you, that's what category you should have on your budget.
Well, that's good. That's really, really good. And, I heard it. I think it was because this really rang out to me, and this came up in my spirit the last couple of days. I forgot to tell you about this. And really, it was something Pastor Greg had said, I think it was last year sometimes, is that a lot of us think that we it's basically like the things that we don't think that's important. We think that, as long as I'm not putting attention to that, it's not going to be important as far as like to God. But he says the things that you think are small that you focus on, that you do, that's what he's going to give you a real account of and see when he asks you that question, what have you done with my son, And that goes into the realm as far as like with the finances and everything that he entrusts you in.
Right.
But wow, I mean, the being a saver as far as like, and being a versus a spender. And I mean, I can definitely say we've gone, in my family, like what those little heart monitors, those EKGs, we've been,
right.
And, until, and this is going to sound funny, well, it may sound funny, and you may hear this all the time. And, we got a couple minutes right before the next break, but until possibly maybe getting out of high school, I think that was the first time in that realm where I ever really paid attention or heard anything about a budget. First time. Never saw one at all.
Right.
It was never said in the house. I mean, if you would have said budget, I would have thought you was talking about some kind of, dish to cook or something. I didn't know what that was. But, I mean, why is it that you feel, families don't, put a budget together?
Because a lot of times families don't have enough money to cover their expenses. So they're afraid. It's a lot of fear when it comes to finances because you feel like you don't have it. So why even deal with it? So you don't want to go there mentally because, again, it's emotional. That's why I included with therapy because it's we have an emotional attached to money. And instead of realizing that money is a tool. And so, a lot of times they don't do a budget because they're already living from paycheck to paycheck. So why even deal with it? Why even look at it? You have to, when you see it in a budget, it's like in your face. Like, I really have screwed up. And so it's just like, that's why I say come to therapy and let's look at this together and let me encourage you because you can make it out of this.
Awesome. Wow. I mean, that's powerful. That's really powerful. And, it's, you hit the nail right on the head is that, well, I'm going to put it in my own words. Some people just really don't want to face the truth about what's going on with their lives. So, look, I know you've been listening, and I know it's hitting right close to home, but I know God is actually shaking you up to let you know you still have the opportunity to get your finances and your mental state right in that area. So He can give you more. So stay in your moment, and we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan, and wow, thriving Thursday. If you didn't realize it, and definitely in the house is Miss Danielle Bailey of Freedom Therapy Center, LLC.
Yes.
All right. I mean, she's churning out the info in a way that, wow, it's something when I say I haven't heard it in that fashion. And believe me, I can see how God is allowing her and is using her to really break it down to the least common denominator. I mean, that's just really, really awesome. I mean, Danielle, just to start, I mean, I know a lot of people that have your credentials, all right, your degree. Mm-hmm. I mean, they usually, they get that particular degree and then they go and work for possibly, one of the bigger companies or whatever in the area. I mean, What actually caused you or wanted you to just go in your business?
I would say not a little bit, but a lot is God. And me wanting to do things in a different way on my own terms. I was working at a job where I really wanted to talk about finances more, but I couldn't because of the simple fact is that it was a mental health job.
Okay.
So it was just like, can I start my own? And God gave me I was at work one day and I was looking through quotes, and it was the Harriet Tubman quotes. And so about how she freed 1,000 slaves, but she could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves. So that's how freedom.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's how freedom therapy came about. And if you look at my logo, there's shackles because I feel like a lot of people are in bondage with mental health and finances. So it's like, let me help you get that freedom that you deserve and that is out there to be given. So that's how I came about with starting my own practice. It was God led, and so that's why I'm out here now, just doing what God told me to do.
Well, let me ask you this: since you came and you just pretty much opened the doorway with that final little portion of it, I mean, how important is God in your business?
God is very, very important. I have tried to run this business on my own, and when I try to run it on my own, it's straight chaos. So for me, I'm just gonna tell the truth. It's straight chaos. So for me, I have incorporated God as in from 9 to 10 every day. I do a Bible study and I pray and I ask God how to run this business and where to take this business, what to do next.
Wait. You mean you actually intentional?
Yeah.
And set time aside?
Yeah.
So God can actually speak with you?
Yeah, so I can
to
study.
Progress you? Oh, okay. Wow.
That's the business plan right there. Okay, like people ask me who you work for. God, like like you know what I mean, and not to just be like super spiritual, or super religious, but it just be like, yo, I work for God. He tell me what to do, because. And it's just like when I operate out of Him, and when I do this 9 to 10, I'm seeking Him for myself, not necessarily for my business, but because when I seek Him for myself, everything else that's aligned with me is going to fall in order.
Amen. I'm sorry, I just had to. Well, you know something. Look, listening audience out there, family out there. Look, let me just let you know, okay? You've heard us over and over and over about this leap of faith. I mean, How many times are we going to have different guests on the show? And even if they don't say it, you should have something that sparked on the inside of you. Man, everybody taking this leap of faith. I mean, if they doing it, why can't I do it? I mean, and I love how Danielle said, well, you're like your boss, and what has got you into it is God, who you answer to, get the business plan and, everything. And I mean, that just lines up just so perfectly, with everything that's going on and what we do. Right. I mean, Danielle, why don't you actually go ahead and give them, your contact information?
Okay, so my contact information is, you can reach me. My office is located at 3654 Government Street. Right next door to On Point, actually.
Yep.
So we're like neighbors. And so my phone number is 318-613-0147. Again, it's 318-613-0147. Or you can reach me by email at freedomtherapycenter at gmail.com. I'm sorry, freedomtherapycenter at gmail.com.
I love that. And I'm looking at like your slogan that you have there. I just want to be your favorite therapist.
Yes, like that's it. Like, let me be your favorite therapist. Let me help you and stuff.
That's good. That's good. And, speaking with Danielle and definitely seeing how she carries herself, and my wife will tell you, if I've actually told you, I'm like a people watcher. I mean, I'll keep my eye on a lot of different things. People, they can think I just walk right by them, but, you can be amazed at what you get in a snapshot of what's going on with someone. And it really lets me know who that particular individual is as far as like how they carry themselves, even when they think they're not being watched.
Right.
And, we need to be at all times in different areas. And Danielle, we've had people in like so many broad areas and backgrounds or whatever on this show. And, I know that's God's made that intentional just to show people in the body and maybe not in the body, just how he works in every area.
Right.
Okay. So definitely in like saying all of that, I think this is probably going to be for the remainder of the show. We actually go into this. Dun, dun, dun. Here comes the topic we were talking about before we got started. Do you actually feel people fall into a sense of entitlement?
Ooh, don't you get my mercy. Yes. Like that is, oh my God. We have a sense of entitlement out this world. Like it's, you owe me this, you owe me that. Don't nobody owe y'all nothing. Like, don't nobody owe us nothing. We owe it to ourselves to work for what we want and go out there and get it.
Well, Danielle, I mean, you work you work hard, maybe 10, 12 hours a day. You're doing what God tells you to do. You're doing everything that's necessary. And, I mean, you become a millionaire. And, all I've been doing is just sitting on a sofa, maybe, earning living off that woman I'm shacking up with, her income or whatever it is that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, shouldn't I feel that since you have all that money that I should have some of it?
No. Like, you can come to therapy and we can work through this thing to see why you have that sense of entitlement. What make you think that? And where is it at where did you go wrong in your, not necessarily wrong, because that's the way you think, but where did you start developing this sense of entitlement? And,
really listening to you, a lot of things as far as like entitlement is concerned, okay? Now, you hear and it talks about in the Bible, and I didn't get this, but I'm relating it to this right now, okay? I guess my bulb wasn't shining too bright at that point. But this really lines right up with, the whole aspect of, generational curses.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It really, really does. So, I mean, how do you actually get someone to identify that they're in this state? Because people don't know. Really, people just don't know. I'm just going to do everything everyone else is doing.
Right. And I'm going to go back to the actual talking therapy point about it. Like, that's what we develop all this stuff in therapy. Like, we go back to your family history and we see and I try to help you come to the conclusion that maybe this is just the generational curse, or maybe this is me thinking that I have a sense of entitlement. It's always the way that therapy works is we talk. And I help you connect the dots. And I help you figure it out. And I help you see. And so when you start seeing that you have this system of type, it's almost like a light bulb goes off. You can see it. And people are like, well, maybe that's not the way of thinking. Maybe it's not. Maybe you can think of it in a certain different way. And so when they start having that moment, that's when we're able to shift. That's when the mind frame is able to shift into going into something positive, when they decide that they want something better for their lives.
Awesome. Being what? That positive agent of change that we're always talking about. And, a lot of people, like you said before, they look at it as far as like a fear aspect of it, something that I can never do. But what I found out, and I know you found out, that they don't look at themselves. They start measuring everything that happened prior to them.
Right.
And then they attach themselves to that.
Right.
So, it's really, really powerful what God's doing in the studio on today and how he's just meeting and doing and reaching people right where they are. And I tell you, Danielle's bringing some powerful information up in here today. And, I mean, it's something that, wow. Well, I'm not going to go ahead and ask this now. I'm just going to wait till we come back. But, look, stay in your moment, and I know God's blessing you right where you're at. Welcome back to In the Moment with Kortia Cruz, and definitely I know you have been listening and letting it marinate in your spirit, everything that's been coming from the dynamic Danielle Bailey of Freedom Therapy Center, LLC. I mean, she's bringing the heat in every area that you can think of to help release you from that bondage of not knowing how to get your finances in order. And, we tend to want to pray, and we keep asking God, Lord, meet this need, meet that need. And then, of course, God's like, okay, I need you to handle what I've already given you before I can go ahead and give you more. So, definitely on the realm of, what we actually left off on, Danielle, like I said, I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to connect with you. So, look, go ahead and give that contact information again to the listening audience.
All right, my office is at 3654 Government Street, Suite 1, right next door to On Point. And my email address is freedomtherapycenter@gmail.com. And my phone number is 318-613-0147. Again, that's 318-613-0147. Or if you just go and search therapist on Psychology Today, you'll see me.
Oh, awesome.
My picture will be up there, Freedom Therapy Center.
Good deal, good deal. And, we talked about, the entitlement a little bit. I mean, very little, because that in itself is an entire show alone. But the whole aspect of, you said something when we were in the break, and my wife and I, we keep always talking about, man, we're going to have like an off-air type of moment,
right? Because
a lot of stuff comes out then. But you mentioned about, you're doing something else now. You're training more now, but you had a key word that came out of your mouth when you finished. You didn't say, I've got to go ahead and spend all this money to further, my knowledge. You said you had to invest.
Right.
Why is it that a lot of times, and I know it's a mental transition, but can you break it down for the listening audience as far as like, when do you go from that mindset of, man, I'm having to spend or come out of pocket with this money to where I'm actually investing in my future?
You have to realize that you're worth it.
Oh, that's good.
You yourself is worth it. That you're worth the investment in yourself that is going to further not just yourself, but your family. And then you have to think about all of these are people. A lot of people are attached to us that we don't even know, and we're just sitting on it. So with more certifications and stuff like that, where the certification, you might know the knowledge already, God is going to deposit it into you, but the certification is for the worldly part, where it's going to open up doors and stuff like that. God has already told me that he's raising up a new generation of people, and it's education behind it. So that's why I had to go and get so much education, because my education is good and it's going to help me, but the education is for the worldly people that get me in different doors. I hold one of the top credentials as a social worker, a licensed clinical social worker. Everybody or every social service agency has to have one of these on staff, or else you're going to seek one. So it took me, I struggled sometimes to get to this point in life, but when he got me there, when he was like, I'm going to put you there and I'm going to trust you with these credentials, with the people that you're connected to, like that was an investment. Like I spent a lot of money to get where I'm at, and I'm still paying for my degree. Okay.
Look, I tell you, yeah, we feel you. We feel you. And definitely, see, the thing is that a lot of times, and I like how you said your investment and you went to your degree, but a lot of us, when it comes to the aspect of our connection that we have with God, okay, we don't look at it in this light.
Right.
We don't look at how much God has invested in us,
right,
the time he's taken in us, the expectation that he has of what we're going to do. See, just like what you're doing, he does the same thing. See, it's amazing. I don't even know if you've ever thought about it that way, as far as like how he's invested this and that in you, and he sees what your true potential is, and that's what he really wants to have happen. Right. And then if you think about it, it's the same thing you're doing with people when they come in your office. You see the potential in them.
Break it down to me.
The potential you see in other people, that's what you try to bring out.
Right.
And, that's exactly what we do on the show, to be that positive agent of change, just everything we are doing through the whole OPT family. And I don't really think it's coincidence that you like right next door to
I don't think so neither.
like spirits. I mean, I love it. I love it.
Right.
And there's a lot of different things that actually happen. And Danielle, I'm looking at you right now, and if you could actually see what I'm saying, I'm looking at Danielle right now. She's got on this shirt, and it says "Restore, Black Finances." I mean, what's that all about?
I feel like it's because we are so far behind now. But there once was a time when we were thriving as a community, as a race. There is such a thing as Black Wall Street, where blacks were extremely rich and extremely wealthy, but we fall into this trap of credit and buying things that we don't have enough money for. And so it's just like, let's get back to restoring our finances and let's start leaving this generational wealth that we're supposed to be doing according to the Bible. We're supposed to leave an inheritance for our children, but we're not doing that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so, in saying that, you started and created, I guess, like, or working on a different product line to really promote, this awareness?
Right. I'm working on T-shirts and stuff like that to actually promote, because a lot of people like to see different creative T-shirts and stuff, but to promote positive finances and positive wealth and stuff. So I have another shirt that talks about currently building generational wealth. That's what I'm in. Like, I'm in the process of building an inheritance for my children's children. It may not look like it right now, but by the time this is finished, there will be an inheritance.
And that's powerful because, you're not focused on the now. You're focused on what God's actually shown you. And that's how each and every one of his people that actually take that leap of faith. Let me just say that genuine leap of faith. Okay, not that I'm gonna just stick my toe in the pool or something and I'm gonna just test it out. But when you just take that genuine leap of faith, and how it's like, I tell my wife, isn't it funny that God has us on his path and all this stuff is happening, but what we perceive that needs to be happening right now hasn't, but it's like this avenue, this door's open, this door's open, that door's open, do this, do that.
Right.
And you're like, man, I never saw all this stuff coming.
Right.
And I tell you what, Danielle, what would you actually like to tell the listening audience, before we wrap it up on today?
I would like to say that you're able to build generational wealth. You're able to stop living paycheck to paycheck. You're able to do any and everything that you want to do in life. Like, don't allow fear to hold you back. If you have businesses that you want to start them. Get with you a coach. Come see me. Let's figure out how to actually start this thing. Believe in yourself. Stop settling. Do not settle.
Absolutely. And I love how she said earlier, you are valuable enough. You are important enough. And something, when you realize this and when you finally see yourself in the light that God sees you in, you will realize that you are truly more than an overcomer. Okay. And look, I know this has been like really, really powerful and everything on today. And I know God's really resonating with you, and definitely follow and contact Danielle so she can help you in these different areas, because why? She's going to go ahead and just give you that information one more time, and then right after that, we're going to be heading out the door.
All right, you can reach me at my address is 3654 Government Street, Suite 1. My phone number is 318-613-0147. Again, that's 318-613-0147. Or you can email me at freedomtherapycenter@gmail.com.
Awesome. And you heard it here. You heard how God has already gave you the blueprint to get released from your financial situations. So look, we're going to be heading out the door. We love you. God loves you best. And right after us is On Point Talk with Carlette Christmas and David Christmas. And we will see you on tomorrow on Fire It Up Friday. Take care and God bless you.